It was a quiet, suburban neighborhood, the kind where everyone knows everyone else's name. As a newlywed couple, Lily and Ben had just moved into their dream home, a quaint house with a white picket fence and a large window facing the street. Life seemed perfect. But there was one thing that unsettled them: their neighbor, Mr. Wren. He lived alone in the house across the street, a dark and weathered Victorian with overgrown vines strangling the walls. His eyes never met anyone else's gaze, and he kept to himself, always watching from behind his curtains. His presence was more a feeling than a sight, as if his eyes followed every move they made. At first, Lily thought she was just being paranoid, but strange things began to happen. Every time they would arrive home late, the porch light would flicker on in Mr. Wren's house, even though he never left the front door. The windows were always dark, but somehow she felt he was watching them, not with curiosity, but with intent. One night, Ben went out to pick up some late-night snacks. As soon as he left, Lily felt a cold chill crawl up her spine. She pulled the blinds closed, but when she looked back, there was a shadow lingering at the windows across the street. It was Mr. Wren's shadow, though this one was too large, too distinct. The figure was hunched, with long gangly limbs, and it moved in jerky motions, like a marionette being manipulated. It stood still for a moment before darting behind the curtains. Her heart raced. When Ben returned, she told him about it, but he was dismissive. "You're just imagining things, babe. It's probably just him," he said. But Lily knew something was off. The next evening, she couldn't shake the feeling that the house across the street was alive, that something was stirring behind those dark windows. Unable to resist, she decided to confront Mr. Wren. It was time to find out for herself. She knocked on the door, but it creaked open by itself. The house smelled damp, with the scent of something stale in the air. "Hello," she called, stepping inside. There was no response. The living room was covered in dust, the furniture aged and unused, but it was the paintings on the walls that caught her attention. Portraits of various people, all with their eyes scratched out. She backed away slowly, hearing a creaking sound coming from the stairs. Her breath caught in her throat. The door to the basement was ajar. "Mr. Wren," she called again, but the silence enveloped her. Her curiosity got the better of her, and she descended into the dark basement. The cold air hit her like a wave. At the bottom of the stairs, there was a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling, illuminating a grotesque sight. Hundreds of photographs of people from the neighborhood, all pinned to a corkboard. But in each photo, one thing was the same: their eyes were missing. Lily stumbled back in horror. Then she heard it, a soft, raspy whisper from behind her. "They're all watching. They can't leave until I'm finished." Turning around, she saw Mr. Wren standing in the shadows, his face pale and sickly. His grin stretched impossibly wide, his voice low and guttural. "You're next, my dear." Before Lily could scream, she felt a cold hand on her shoulder. The basement door slammed shut, plunging her into darkness.